He's an active member of the National Association of Black Psychologists, a board member of the National Afrocentric Institute at Temple University, and the executive board of the Associate for the Study of Classical African Civilizations. He told me to say whatever the Spirit moved me to say, and what I feel right now, by just briefly spending some time with the brother, I already know that he's a warrior. He's a fighter, a scholar, an academician, an initiator, a legislator, a regulator, a detonator, a stimulator, and I can already tell that the brother, if pushed, and if he has to get in a defense mode, he can also be a terminator.
It is amazing to watch the spirit of African people do things to African people that we know not what it is. And we should be careful, because we're going to look up and realize who we are and stop taking the mess.
That's right.
It is important that I share with you that there's a rumor going around that Maulana Karenga gave me the topic in which I am to address you. And that's okay, because he's my brother. And if your brother is your Baba, you don't need a mirror. So whatever he has assigned me, I will try to step up to address. And I thought about this process today, and I realized the special genius of Brother Abercrombie, because he has orchestrated something that goes way back in time, to the point when Africans stood up and realized that they were conscious of being conscious. And in so doing, we began to orchestrate mastery of the spirit of the universe. And what my brother has done is what the ancients did. They looked at the natural, divinely governed universe and saw the laws and the processes of that rulership, and then mimicked it in the social constructions of reality. So what my brother has done is provide you with some dinner. It's called Naim Akbar. And Akbar fed you. And I was almost embarrassed because you were greedy. You act like you had no table manners. You just kept eating. And then as a good host, my brother Eric provided you with dessert. And Maulana came and made you embarrass yourself, because you kept asking for more of the sweetness of the dessert. And in the customs of the African tradition, you always have a cool drink of water after you've had your dinner and your dessert. And I suspect that that's my role today, to provide you with a cool drink of water, because it is in that water that the digestive juices begin to work. And that which you have ingested, you begin to digest. And in digesting it, you internalize it, and it becomes part of you. That, I think, is my task. Or maybe it is to put some hot sauce on what was already given. It is my custom that whenever I begin to speak, and especially to those of my own people, that I have to make the moment sacred, because it is in our spirituality that we as African people understand the truth of all things. And I have done that by adopting as my custom to begin my formal remarks by asking all of you to allow me to assume a posture of reverence and respect while I give praise and credit to the source of all knowledge and all things, and I do that by saying out loud. And it's important that you say things out loud if you understand the power of Nomo. So in saying out loud, I ask you to recognize that the Almighty, who is sometimes called Amun, and is sometimes called Aset, and is sometimes called Ptah, and is sometimes called Seshat, and is sometimes called Jehovah, and is sometimes called Obatula, and is sometimes called the Christ, and is sometimes called Oshun, and is sometimes called Shango, and it is sometimes called Allah, and it is sometimes called Oya, and it is sometimes called Olutumari, and it is sometimes called Atum, that Almighty God, Amun, Ptah, Ra, although hidden, is the source of all knowledge, all truth, and all wisdom. And I pray in what I share with you today that Amun, Tehuti, Orumila will be satisfied. It is important that we invoke the spirit of the divine, because in invoking that spirit we manipulate the natural laws of the universe that the Dogon and the Bantu and the Akan understood were at our service. Because just as that young group of voices made that traditional joyful noise unto God in this room, we transformed the energy in this place. So I must warn you, because as a psychologist I would be engaging in malpractice if I didn't. Now's the time to leave if you don't want to be infected with the spirit of Africa. Now's the time to say you have to go, because that energy is real. It is real, and what I intend to do is to share with you a couple of things, trying to be obedient to my brother Malana. I will talk about the psychology of social change and suggest to you that we need to understand very critically a process that I am calling psychocultural rearrangement. And I will explain to you what that means, and understand the process of the creation of the Negro in that psychocultural rearrangement. Because if we understand divine process, if we understand that every product comes from a process, we can return the process back to what it originally was and not be victimized by our arrangement. I will also try to share with you the challenges of the radical reform of black men. And in that radical reformation of black men, we are essentially talking about the radical reformation of the black mind, because it is in the mind that our manhood ultimately is expressed. I have done very little in the field of African psychology, but the one thing that I appreciate that came through me, because the ancestors speak to you and through you, and the one thing that I am glad was spoke to me and then through me was the definition of power. Because that definition is so critical that we need to put it on the walls of our nurseries, so that as our children mature and begin to play with their fingers, to understand their self-divination, even though they cannot read, the formation of the letters of that definition is inscribed in the kiss on the honey of the knowledge that we give them. Power is the ability to define reality and to have other people respond to your definition as if it were their own. It is critical for African people to understand that reality is neutral. It is only when we stand up and define our reality do at the same time we cause an adjustment in those who see us as deviant defining their reality. We must recognize that African people are the definers of human destiny. That's our destiny. We are the definers of human destiny. We take no second seat to anyone in that position. It is not an arrogant position. It is simply something that has been ascribed by divine law. And we need to recognize that and in all humility engage in that. Sometimes that translates politically to mean that we must reascend to our position as rulers and caretakers of the divinely governed universe. That's why we make commentary. That's why we make the announcements. That's